I'm Ryan, this is my brother Daniel, and this is Rolls in the Family, and we are back to keep counting down our favorite board games of all time.
Yep.
We do this every year. We get to see how things moved. Have things changed? Have we grown as people? Have we completely, fallen for the siren call of the cult of the new? Or are old games still holding strong in our rankings?
Those are the questions people are asking.
We've been deep down the modern board gaming rabbit hole since circa 2009. Yeah, and that's a lot of, we've seen a lot of rise and fall of hot games, and, it's interesting. Hopefully you find it interesting to hear where we land here in the year 2025 on our favorite games of all time, which will be all linked in the description below. You can check them out for yourself. We also want to give away some of these games. That's how good we think they are, is we could not live with ourselves. Knowing that we,
or like
could be
more people
providing
need these games, so we will pay for you to have them.
Exactly.
Right?
And so we are having a game giveaway where 3 lucky winners will be randomly chosen to select a game off of our list to be their own, not our copy of the game, but we will
can you imagine? That would be sad.
That would be brutal. the suspense as they pick which one they're going to take from us.
There could be some tragic news.
So we will have a link to a Google form down below, which will have all the information for entering. But what you need to know is in that Google form, it is going to ask for a secret word, which I'm going to tell you shortly. There is a secret word in each of these videos. We had one in the last video. In fact, if you missed that, you can go back to that video and you can get an entry there as well. From that, you might even watch the video, maybe, but you can at least get your entry. And you'll in the Google form, you'll give your email and stuff, and that secret word. The secret word for today's entry is short. As in, we have been dabbling in YouTube shorts here starting in this last week.
You're talking about my height.
Yeah. Just look at him.
I know. The viewers can't tell that I'm 4'7", so.
Yeah. Sure. We've been playing around a little bit with clipping some of our long form content into some more YouTube shorts. It's good for discovery. And if you found us through a YouTube short, maybe let us know below. It'll be proof that it's working.
That's true.
But always got to be experimenting, trying things on the channel. Not everybody has time to watch a 40-minute video.
No. Nobody's
people don't have the attention span for that anymore. So we'll give them some nice little
bite size
2 to 3 minute clips.
Love it.
But short, that'll be your word for entering this time around.
Yeah. They get a bonus entry if they guess my height? Isn't that right, Ryan?
Yeah. Well, now it's on video. Now we're bound by this.
Just kidding.
I won't put a field for it. They got to figure out.
Let us know in the comments below. How tall do you think I am?
Communicate this. Yes. Alrighty, Daniel. Okay. We are starting here with your number 40.
Baby. Man.
Moving up the list.
My number 40. I can't remember if this was if you already mentioned this on your list or not. But this is one that I think is one of the more underrated games in the board game world. We like it so much that we have deluxeified it. This goes to Dungeon Fighter. One of the things Ryan and I really love is dexterity games that have some physical interaction. I think one of the really fun things about physical things, I think about even a game like Crokinole or stuff like that, is you just get those exciting elements that come from the reality of gravity and all the things that can happen when you're throwing stuff. And this game does that. You have a target and it's cooperative and kind of a dungeon crawler. You're moving through a dungeon to ultimately get to kind of a final boss. But the way you are attacking is throwing dice at a target. And I was so excited. I just launched some spit across the table.
That'll look great in 4K.
I hope the camera caught that. So everyone, is on your turn gonna take one of the dice and throw it, but it gets pretty crazy when different monsters are causing you to throw it different ways. So you might get a monster, where you're kicking your leg up and launching. Wow. There you go. I had to make sure I got that on camera.
Dang,
nobody's here to see that.
No, you've given them a big clue to your height now.
Oh, that is
They're
a
gonna-
good clue.
they're gonna
now
pause
guess.
there
They're going
and-
to pause and do some measurements.
And use a board game in the background as a reference.
Well, and can't you do the, like, what they teach you, if you know the length and the height of
We'll do a video on it
leg
later.
and torso, you can figure out. No. So anyways, this game, we have had so many exciting moments in this game where someone's below the table and they throw it and they like land a bullseye with the symbol, which is an auto kill. Man, you really just total unique game. Really, really nothing quite like it. And yet surprisingly accessible. We've had, I think, people not huge gamers be able to play this. One, it's cooperative, so you can really just help. You don't have to explain everything right up front. And man, there is just something fun about throwing dice and the excitement of what can happen. So this one has stayed steady for a few years now. Has the normal slight drop because of new games coming in, but played it 56 times and still love it. Number 40, Dungeon Fighter.
Nice. Yeah, I love how Dungeon Fighter, it's got this like kind of complexity wrapped around it, but in a given group, the people that like that can get all interested in it, and the people that don't really have to think about it.
They
They
can
just
on their
throw
turn,
the dice
throw a
when it's their
die
turn.
and not care,
so it does work pretty well with a mixed group.
Yeah. Oh man, I think I pulled something there.
Hopefully Daniel can make it through the rest of the video here. Well, my number 40 has a lot less chance of getting injured while playing. Non-zero
Injured
chance,
while
but,
talking about it too.
This is a newer game to my collection. It was my number 30 last year, so it's fallen 10 spots.
Okay.
I still like it quite a bit. I think it, has some... It feels like there's maybe some things that are slightly holding it back from like elevating to the top tier. But this is Wonderland's War. And Wonderland's War is such a kind of kitchen sink of some of these modern game design mechanisms that we enjoy, such as bag building and being able to pick which things you're going to put into your bag to be able to draw. But then it's got card drafting that's determining kind of how you're doing the bag building and getting stuff as you're going through this tea party phase where you draft cards. But then all of that's feeding into an area control game where you have this battle round where you go region by region. And the way that you battle is by drawing chips out of your bag and like going on the battle track, and they have different effects, and whoever can get the furthest without busting is going to like win that region. And so really kind of different than anything I have, but like all the individual pieces feel very familiar. It's just like all put together. I've had a lot of fun with it. It is a very kind of pure fun experience. It is a little bit, it feels like there's some games that I would say, the end experience is greater than the sum of its parts, right? Like it just like on paper, it seems like it'd be good, but it's like really exceeds that. Wonderland's War, I feel like for me is like exactly the sum of its parts. Like you put all these things together and I don't think it like synergizes in a way that goes like way beyond.
Yeah.
But it's still just
But
like
each
so many
part's
really good
fun.
things put together that it's still just a great time. It's a big, lavish production. It's very fun to see it on the table. It's got a lot going on. It's not, I'm not going to pull this out with everybody. I mean, even just your player,
right?
And each person's player has like 4 different special abilities that you could choose to unlock, and different, all these. I mean, there's just a lot going on here.
Right.
But one that I've had a good time. I've only played it 3 times, so I'm still
I
pretty
will say,
early.
Ryan, I think this might be the top game of yours that I want to try.
I would maybe agree with that.
It's very high. I really, really want to try.
I might agree with telling you what what your opinion is on which
I love
one
when you
play.
do that. I really do.
No, it's the one that I think it's one that we need to make sure happens at some point when you're out here.
Very true. Love it.
Especially our sister quite likes
She likes it a lot. That was in her top 10, right?
Yeah, it might have been her top 5.
Whoa. Ooh. Okay.
Maybe we'll link that video up.
We might as well.
Yeah.
But you're not going to
likes...
click on the video because you're so engaged here.
Of course not. But in case you want to hear from somebody who actually likes Wonderland's War.
That's true. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, my number 39, and then just trashes on it.
40.
40. Number 39. Good segue.
Good segue.
Goes to number 39, man. This is one of the just one that I think every person should consider owning. It's just a staple, really accessible, and yet, man, for someone who's a gamer, it offers an awesome crunch of thinking. This is going to go to Cascadia. So this one has dropped 10 spots from the previous year. But man, this one, like, I love that I can teach it to just about anyone because what you're doing is so simple. I mean, it's just, you got the paired drafting, which paired drafting is just an excellent mechanic of the randomization of two things and then being together and figuring out what the best pairing is. But you're drafting that pair of a tile and an animal and then you're going to place that tile somewhere, and then the animal gets placed on a tile that has the animal symbol. And ultimately, all the animals are going to have, their own variable scoring, and then you're also trying to build kind of connected regions of the terrain because that's going to get scored among the players, who has the most in a region and all of that. But this one is so great because, I mean, people very young can play this. Like, your son has, I believe, he's played Cascadia, right?
He did once. Well, we honestly, if I took it out again, he'd probably be even more ready
because
for it.
Because rules-wise, it's not hard, and it's very hard to cheat as well.
Do something wrong. Like, worst case, you're just getting a very low score.
Right.
But as long as you put your tile there and put the animal on a matching animal,
so it's got a low barrier to entry. But man, if you want to think in Cascadia, I mean, if you're, and I am all about the, optimization. It can get crunchy of how do I best do this? How do I best keep my options open? I mean, that's a big thing, right? Because you're not going to know what the paired drafting is going to come up with. So trying to keep yourself in as flexible of a situation as possible. I love games that have scoring where you're really trying to optimize multiple things all together and get kind of the best output there. And I feel like I get that in this game. So I don't have the expansion of this one. You do. I got to try it once and I really liked it. It's interesting. I don't know if that's something, because it had some extra kind of stuff.
You could get those cards.
Probably wouldn't pull that out with like a new person to Cascadia, but for someone who's played it quite a few times, I thought that was a really fun addition to it.
Yeah,
so.
Well, the last time we played together, we played with 5.
We did.
Which was only possible because we had the expansion. And I think we used a couple of the expansion animal scoring. So even though we weren't using the main expansion module, we still were able to like kind of enhance the game and be able to play with 5.
Right.
I remember we... in the base game, like all the bear ones, for example, are very, very similar. It's like you want 2 bears together, you want 3 bears together. But I remember the one we had in this particular game that was from the expansion was like you want a bear to have an open space next to it, like where there's no tile.
Right.
Which was just it was nice to have something that was like a little different. And so that was another kind of nice little thing from the expansion. But
yeah, so there you go, Cascadia coming in at 39 for me.
Nice. My 39 is not a game that I would recommend to
at all.
No. I would venture to say most people, this is not the right game for them. It is pretty polarizing. It comes actually from a designer that I think most of his games kind of fit into this category of there's going to be a segment of people that are going to love them, might be their favorite game of all time, but it is not necessarily going to be right for a lot of other people. This is Arx. And Arx,
okay,
I've had an interesting journey with it so far. Because I kind of went into it with like, is this finally going to be the cool whirly game that's right for my collection?
Right.
And so far the answer is yes. And we started by, I played the base game several times of just a standalone game of Arx. I've now played 2 of the 3 games of a campaign with the Blighted Reach expansion, which I will say is a very different experience. I mean, it is really a different feel than playing base game Arx.
Yeah, because I've only played the base game. Yeah,
base game Arx is this tight knife fight in a phone booth trying to work with, your inevitably terrible hand to like try to make your round.
If your hand is always terrible, is it really terrible?
Well, it makes it interesting tactically to figure out, but it's this constant almost paranoia of how are people going to come try to flip a scoring on me by taking something and like all that. The campaign definitely shifts it more towards like everybody's got some objectives that like are only their objectives and things they care about, which takes some of the pressure off of those ambitions because it's not just all on the ambitions. And so honestly, if your complaint with the base game is like, oh, it's just too in your face mean, I could actually see some of those people liking the campaign because it's a little bit less. It's still, I mean, let's not go too far. It's still got a lot of the ARX
Still
DNA.
gonna flip in the table. But.
I feel like I am at no point where I can even say like which I prefer. I definitely could see myself continuing to play both. It's nice that the ARX campaign is just 3 games, so I can handle that type of campaign. And getting grouped together, we can try to get 3 games in. But what a unique game! Absolutely nothing like it. The way that it's trick-taking, driving this space opera game, but fighting. Everything in the game. Actually, this is a good contrast to like Wonderlands, where I was like, everything in the game feels like, you've seen it before and it's all. But ARX, it's like almost everything in the game. You're like, wow, I've never really seen a game that did
it like that
way,
right.
or just the way. And so very fascinating from a design perspective. I'm interested to see where this one goes on my list. I have no idea.
Well, I'll be honest,
honestly.
Ryan. This was quite a bit lower than I thought it was going to be for you. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe I didn't fully know how the campaign was going or whatnot, but I was kind of expecting a little bit higher. So
yeah, I mean, it's been really great in the niche that I want it to be. Admittedly, that niche tends to be lower compared to like games where you're building up your own thing, a little less direct conflict. Just tends to be more my style.
There is some conflict in this game.
Like if we were to filter my list by only games that are like kind of high conflict games, suddenly this is like pretty high. Yeah,
that's fair.
But yeah, ARX holding. I guess it's new to the list. I think I got it like shortly after we did the list last year. Debuting at 39.
Very nice. My number 38. One we both own, and this one has stayed pretty steady, and in fact, even slightly rose. 43, 42, and now 38.
Whoa.
But played it 51 times, and it just, I don't get it played often, although actually just played a game recently, but when I just want to sit down and play a head-to-head kind of card game, this one just nails that for me. This goes to Keyforge.
Nice.
I still have yet to do a Keyforge tournament like we did back in the day, which it's hard to rate Keyforge for me because, playing a game of Keyforge just with, 2 decks is fun and all that. But a Keyforge tournament is like one of my favorite board gaming like memories, So all of that kind of comes together. But what I love about this game is you don't have to, go and buy booster packs to try to find the best cards. You don't have to, none of that. It's just you get a deck and it's a completely unique deck, which is so cool. Just that whole model of every deck is completely unique. And what's really fun when you play like a tournament of this is when we go into, we oftentimes would go into it blind, right? You've never played this deck before. And so as you're playing throughout the day, you're discovering the unique intricacies of this deck and how to play it. And like, that is so fun, especially for us. We're like, I don't know. I don't get that much joy out of like buying all of these cards and crafting the perfect deck. I would much rather give me something and let me discover how to use it, and the best way to go about it. And I think this game just does that. I love that it's not just a who can get the most powerful and attack more. Like there's times where my opponent will have a ton of, strong monsters out, but I'm maybe, playing the, what's the one that's really good at stealing
Shadows.
shadow,
Yeah.
and so I might be really weak over here, but I'm pulling off some nice steals or constantly keeping them from forging keys, because ultimately that's how you
Yeah.
win, right? You just forge 3 keys, and so it doesn't matter who's got the stronger side necessarily. So I think it's just a really, really just clever design, and gosh, now, I mean, they've got so much content now. If you wanted to get into this, I mean, you could pick up some early decks for so cheap, and that's just beautiful. You know, you can just get into the game for such a cheap cost, and there's so much, you know, obviously content out there now. So this has been a really, really fun one to have in the collection, and do want to get another tournament scheduled. That would be super fun. So there's my number 38.
Nice. My 38 is, maybe of all the games on my list, the one I would say is the most of just a classic. And that's both in the board game industry and just in our personal board game journey. Few games have been such a staple from early on as Ticket to Ride.
Woo!
And Ticket to Ride, it only dropped 2 spots.
Holding steady.
I played it twice in the last year. I want to say both of those were on Board Game Arena, which I will say was fun to like scratch that itch a little bit, because I don't get to play it that often.
Right.
And I still just really, really like Ticket to Ride. The core tension between the 3 actions, I always talk about, like, it's just such a brilliant, you want to draw cards to build up more of your hand so you know what you have. You also want to take destinations, because if I know my next destinations, I can optimize better how they're going to work with my current destinations.
Mm-hmm.
But you also want to claim routes on the board, because otherwise things start getting claimed, and you may have to be less efficient because somebody got to something first.
Right.
And the way you're always just trying to figure out which is the right one to be going for at any time. The fact that there's like different maps in this game that just can keep it fresh. But I mean, I've played Europe and USA, like some of these core ones, so many times that I'm not tired of them. It just has such a nice rhythm to it. It's comfort food. It plays fast. It's always got this nice game arc of just the tension escalating, and like it's got another nice thing that I think is a good trait with kind of these more gateway games, where you kind of define how hard it is on yourself. Like, as a more experienced player, you get ambitious. And so you end up having a hard, tense game because you were ambitious.
Right.
Somebody new to the game, you could just work on your starting destinations, and you might have kind of what feels to you like a tense, close game.
Right.
Or you can kind of, define where you want that to be. So I think it lets people kind of play to their styles. And, there's sometimes that we more experienced players fly a little too close to the sun, and we think we're going to achieve a lot, and Ticket to Ride punishes you pretty brutally with negatives if you don't complete the tickets. But yep, it's stayed up in my ratings. I've played it 149 times. Has been as high as 27 on my list.
You got to get your 150th play, Ryan.
I got to get my 150th play. Maybe I'll save it for teach my son. We've played the first Journey.
Oh yeah,
because
he has played. Let's take that.
Yeah, we haven't played it as much recently, but I should get that going with him again, as kind of lay the groundwork to get all the way to the full version.
Very nice, Ryan. Yeah, absolute classic. Moving to my number 37. This is a game that, man, I don't own it, and yet every time I think about it, I'm like, man, I really should just own this game, because in terms of just, there's some of those games that just are pure fun in terms of what you're doing. And this one, for me, just every turn is just the dopamine hit. This goes to Space Base.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this, this one, you're building your slot machine, essentially, of, and every turn, the lead player is going to roll the dice, and when you roll the dice for your turn, you activate the blue cards in front of you, and then for everyone else, it's triggering their red cards that are getting kind of tucked underneath. There's just so many options for how you can go about customizing this thing, and you get the immediate satisfaction of testing it, hitting it every single turn. You don't have to, some games you build something and you maybe get a little glimpse of the fruit of it. This game is just every single turn you get to just see the reward of what's happening, and that is so much fun, so satisfying. Probably the only thing holding this game back for me is I just find, and maybe it's just the games I've played of it, but just the game arc can be not as satisfying as
it can
I
be
want.
easy to make a mistake with how you play the game, right? Like,
and I think I've
it's
been on the
easy to
bad
fall
end of
into
that.
engine building, and then somebody else
knowing
actually
when to turn and start just going for points, and then suddenly, I think usually how this works is Ryan suddenly just ends the game with points, and we're all just like,
I try
wow.
to remind people before we start of kind of how to think about it, because it's one of those things that once you're actually in the game and you're making that race, you don't really want to say to everybody, "Now might be a good time."
You really should go start scoring points.
It's like it's
I
not really
know.
the strategic move.
So
but.
a little bit to hard. I think maybe it actually hurts the accessibility. It's hard for new players to read when to make that turn.
Yeah.
But man, is it fun. It's just so good. So there you go. Yeah. We'll see if it ever enters the collection, but for now.
Yeah, you've got it higher on your list than I had it in my last segment.
I know.
So,
I do like it.
yeah, it's good stuff. Cool. My number 37 is, I believe, the holder of the title of my favorite roll or flip and write game. The genre of, there's a lot of these.
It's a growing
now.
genre.
Yeah, I guess Yahtzee's kind of like the OG, though a lot of the newer ones have this element of whatever the roll or the flip is, everybody's using simultaneously, which is nice because you can play with big groups.
Right.
That is true of this game. This is Cartographers. And this combines the polyomino puzzling, which we enjoy in a lot of games, with a working on your own sheet and using the result that was flipped. There are a few games that I have in my collection that work so well across such a broad player count. In fact, there might not be any game that is good as this one. You can even I don't really play this one solo, though you totally could, and I think a lot of people enjoy it. But this plays well from 2 players to 12 plus players. Which is pretty phenomenal. It looks like it's actually gone up 3 spots this year. I didn't look at my list last year.
Why do you think that is, Ryan?
It's a good question. I played it a little bit. Let's see, 6 times this year. I played a few on Board Game Arena as well as a few in person.
Okay.
I think it continues to hold for me. I've played it 34 times, and every game, the different objectives. I love how you get to feel the tension towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
There's some games I've played of other roll and writes or games or puzzly games that let you off too early. It ends before. I'm like, my favorite part is kind of like
when it gets really
the
tight.
crunching, kind of how did you set yourself up to kind of. And I feel like Cartographers does a pretty good job of that. I have a bunch of content for it that I have different maps we can play and different stuff. And it at this point to me feels like a total evergreen for me personally, to where I'm confident I could play this 100 more times and I'm still going to have an appetite to play it more. It just has
games
that.
You can say that
it has that DNA, and that's a lot of our favorite games. That's the kind of thing we say about it. Is like, I could just keep playing and playing this one. So we'll see if that continues to be the case. But so far, Cartographers, little game, making a splash here on my top 50.
Little game, big impact. Okay, Ryan, moving to my number 36. Man, this game just absolutely nails the accessible family genre, and probably the only game on my list that your son convinced me to
This
play.
is high, Daniel.
Ryan, this game is so good. This goes to Seven Wonders Architects. And you know what? It is shocking because this game is very simple. Like, it's, you're choosing a card from your right, your left, or the center, and you're just building up your cards. The game plays super fast. I mean, gosh, you play a game in like 15 minutes or so. So it's honestly, all those things you would say would not be a game that's like high on my list, just because I like longer, heavier games. But the accessibility of this is just out of this world. I mean, and the way it brings everyone together, you can have like your son playing this and having a blast, and yet I'm having a blast. Like it's such a simple decision, and I don't know why it is so satisfying to just see like, okay, should I go with the two that are visible or should I take the gamble on top? And to see how that plays out, I don't know. It is just an absolute just a great time, and the fact that it can go up to 7 players, anyone practically can play it. I mean, it is probably the just best game I have for being able to just hit almost any situation, you know, and to just feel like, I mean, and you can play it 2-player. I mean, that's something you couldn't do. I mean, I'm probably not gonna do it a lot, but like you couldn't, you know, the original 7 Wonders, you really, I mean, I don't think you could do that. You needed like at least 3.
Variant.
This one feels like it works better just across all player counts. Absolute must check out for that in terms of that just family game genre, because I just think it nails it out of this park. So yeah, this one is ascending, only up actually 3 spots from the previous year, which is interesting.
Still impressive.
But man, I love me some Seven Wonders Architects.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I agree with, you know, everything you're saying. That said, for my list this year, it's a ways down for my personal rankings.
Yes.
It's
but like we said, Ryan, I'm about the
You care more about people.
I care about the people.
I don't care about people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to know where it landed? I just
Where'd it
checked. 103.
Oh my gosh, Ryan. We'd have to
It
make
wasn't-
so many
it
more
wasn't-
videos to get
It
that
wasn't
on.
in my top 100. We also just spoiled that we actually do rank all the way up to 100. We don't have time to make videos.
We don't
all the
care
way
about you guys
it
that
might,
much.
It might kill Daniel if we make him edit 10 of these videos.
Oh my gosh.
Cool. We are on to my number 36, which is a game that is on a small list of games that Daniel owned first. I played and decided it was one that I wanted to add to my collection. It's dropped 11 spots, but I think it's still just kind of finding itself. It's new. This is Cthulhu Death May Die.
Oh.
And we have a long history with enjoying some of these big Lovecraftian cooperative games. We played a lot of Arkham Horror 2nd Edition. We've now played a lot of Eldritch Horror. Cthulhu Death May Die is this really nice game in fitting the feel of that in a shorter time frame and a more shrunk tactical experience where you're actually going through rooms and like a scenario where something's happening. It's a lot more zoomed in. And it just really nails focusing on just fun with very simple game flow and not a lot to remember. I mean, it just is very smooth as you go around, and like the movement rules and all this is very just easy to understand. And then it's got a great mix and match element with you picking an Elder One and picking a mission, and like you can match any of those two together. And so I haven't played it. Let's see, I've played 4 times now. It's actually one that's been on my list of one to get back to the table because it's been a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, it's a lot of pure fun as a cooperative experience. We don't have a lot of cooperative games that land in like the 90-minute range.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like either I've got cooperative games that are like short cooperative games or they're like very long cooperative games.
Right.
And so this one is a really nice one in my collection to be highly thematic, cool miniatures. You know, people love getting more insane as the game goes by because you get more powers and abilities as you go. It just, we have a good time every time we've pulled this one out. So it lands at my number 36 this year.
Very nice. There's so much content for that one coming out now, which is very exciting.
Yeah, I only have the base game and one extra Elder one.
Yeah, I need to get season 2 or the next one. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we live in the past.
Moving to my number 35, Ryan. This is another just one that I think we would consider a staple. It has been a smash hit in both of our collections, dropping a little bit, drops 11 spots here. I think my personal like whenever I think about this game now, I don't know, for some reason I don't personally get like, woo, maybe just because I played it a lot. And yet when I end up actually playing it, I'm like, okay, this is a lot of fun. This is going to go to the Quacks of Quedlinburg. So played it now, I think 35 times, 4 times in the last year. But man, again, getting a little bit to what Space Base does, that excitement of drawing from the bag and, you know, building this bag building experience and then getting to draw from it and push your luck and see how far you can go is super fun. And the way the ingredients are unique every single game just makes for, I think, a fun, unique experience every single time, which is good since, you know, I play this with so many new groups. So it's new to them, not new to me. So it's nice to have some fresh ingredients that I can do some different stuff. But man, this one's just been such a staple, and yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's interesting to hear you say how, like, you know, it's dropping a little bit, probably just you played it a lot or whatever,
right?
Which is very similar to what I said when this was in my last segment. The only difference is I've played it, I think, close to 15 times more than you.
Oh no!
And
so it's gonna keep dropping.
I think we're on a similar, but I think we both would say the same thing if we still love it, and it's still, you know, it's in our top 50s, which is still a strong showing, but. You know, it's naturally going to fall a little bit as we play it. So
yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of when it's the go-to for, you know, a lot of gaming situations, and so inevitably you're gonna cool a little bit. Okay,
nice. My number 35 is a game that is by a designer that he's the designer of the game that we've played the most times, individual times. That game is Race for the Galaxy from Tom Lehman. This is Res Arcana. And Res Arcana, I don't know that there's a lot of these games that have cards with effects and you're kind of using them to engine build or whatever.
Yeah.
This one distills it to such a concentrated, you're going to draft a deck of only 8 cards. Those are your only 8 cards in the whole thing. And it's like, how am I going to use these together to make a machine that can generate the right things to go after the right, you know, victory point opportunities. And it's got, you know, you can discard a card to get resources. So part of the puzzle is, well, which ones am I not going to use right now so that I can get these other things out? And then you add in the fact that, like, the places of power that you can buy are randomized every game that people can go after. And it's just hugely replayable with how you're going to be, like, drafting a unique deck every time. And I've just had a lot of fun with this one. It has a little bit more of like a resource management element than something like Race for the Galaxy or a lot of these other card games, because you actually are like producing tokens and like needing to figure out like, okay, I have this many blues and this many reds. But then that allows you to opens the door to a lot of these cool card effects of like, oh, this is one that I can throw a bunch of these resources through to get these, and I can get some gold, so now I can start going for monuments or something. And just navigating that path in what's ultimately a race. You're racing to the 10 points, or I now have the whatever the Pearl expansion is that actually increases the target. But I've been really also happy with the expansion content. It's just fun to add new cards into it. I do like the Pearl element. One thing that's interesting with that is you get to start with a Pearl, which is a point. So they just give you a point, but you also can discard a Pearl to, it's been a little while, but I think you can get like, it's like a decent amount of resources for it because you're giving up a point.
Yeah.
But in that early game, it opens the door to like, I can launch my engine because I can like, you know, discard the point to. So yeah, I've primarily played it 2-player or 3-player.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd really want to go. I mean, it would be fine at 4 if everybody knew how to play, but really best probably is a 2 or 3-player game.
Right.
But yeah, it's
that's high.
It's pretty high. Yeah, it dropped 4 spots, but it's been up there for me. I need to get it played. It's actually been a little. It's been a little while since I got it played.
Very nice, Ryan. Moving to my 34, my top party game. You know,
I don't know that any party games made my top 50.
Party games have a hard time making it onto a list like this, just because, you know, we love our strategy games. But this one, when you have just this many memories and this many experiences of just laughing so hard as you're playing this in pairs together, it just has to be up there, Ryan. So this goes to Time's Up Title Recall. This is the the best party experience I've had. You do need the right group of people who like acting things out, being on a timer. Like there's some barriers to liking this, right? You gotta have the right people, but man, this party game is so great because you got this deck of cards and you're in pairs and you're on the timer and trying to, get your partner to guess the title, get as many titles as you can to get them to guess. And I don't even know a lot of the titles, but you can just, break it up word by word and whatnot. But what's so fun about this game is that it's played over 3 rounds. So you do go through the whole deck, everyone, and then you score it. But then you shuffle that same deck back together and use the same deck in the second round. But now there's a restriction. Now you can only use one word and actions versus being able to talk. And then the final round, you can't use any word. So because of that, because you're using the same deck, there's this building upon of what's happened before, which creates such funny moments because someone will do something. And oftentimes it's like someone will give a clue that maybe even was a mistake or just something that was really funny in the first round. And because it was so funny, it's now memorable, and that becomes the clue for that card in future rounds. And so it just like there's funny moments, and then you build upon it each round. And Ryan, we have so many memories of just hilarious things happening in this game. So the way if you can have the right group, it delivers incredible experiences. Stayed incredibly steady. I'm looking at this here, Ryan. 36, 36, 34. So how about that?
Wow.
That is quite steady.
Even moving up a little bit.
But man, it's been a little while since I've played it. Gotta get a group, but
me too, man. Me too.
A party game sneaking onto the list.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's something just in like humor and comedy is the callback.
Yes.
Like it's just a very funny thing, and this is like the game that like sets that up.
It
sets up the callbacks.
I know.
So yeah, I totally agree. That is something I really enjoy about that game. My number 34 has been mentioned in this segment.
Whoa.
However, while it went up for Daniel, apparently it's dropped 18 spots.
Oh
for
my
me.
gosh.
And I think it's because this one we talked about a little bit with yours, that it's a difficult one to rank. This is Keyforge. And the reason it is so difficult to rank is because you've got kind of 2 different Keyforge experiences.
Yeah.
You've got like the standalone game.
Yeah.
And then you've got what I've now done, I think 3 times.
Dang.
Which is a full day, get 8 people together for a pool play feeding into a double elimination tournament where everybody goes in with a blind deck, and throughout the day you learn your deck, you start learning other people's decks. You know, you maybe even play somebody that you played earlier in pool play, and you're like, I remember kind of what your deck did against me last time. And the experience that creates, and Keyforge facilitates it. Like, I had been looking for a game that could do this type of one-day tournament thing.
Right.
You'll remember I had Dice Masters. You remember when I had Marvel X-Men Dice?
Right, you did.
And originally that was the vision, is like, ooh, this could be that, right? Draft characters and do this. Ultimately, Dice Masters kind of just didn't make the cut for me and just how much we enjoyed the game. But Keyforge, man, it just nails it. Like, looking at it as a standalone game, I love the game system. The unique deck is cool, obviously. That's a big part of it. But just the thing of, like, you declare a house, and your deck is made up of 3, and you can only use cards from that house that turn. That is such a compelling mechanism.
It is.
Because you so often in the game are going to end up with a very strong position in one house, but your hand might not have any more of that house.
So do you just keep hammering that?
Yeah, because you always get to draw back up to 6 cards. So if you don't play any cards, you're kind of just like stopping your card draw, but maybe it's worth it to push your current position where you can use a lot of these either artifacts or creatures you have out there. I think it's absolutely brilliant on that front. I agree with what you were saying, that I love that it's like the forging of keys instead of just attacking, because suddenly you have this interesting decision of, well, I could attack with my creature to get rid of yours, or I could reap with this creature and just get amber. And so you have kind of this interesting do I feel like I'm in a stronger position where maybe I can just reap, or do I need to do something about my opponent's position because I feel like they're putting themselves in too good of a situation? So many interesting decisions, so many fun cards. The game doesn't take itself that seriously, so there's a lot of kind of fun, wild effects, which just again plays into the when you're doing a full day tournament thing like that. It's so fun to be like, we know that person has that one wild card in their deck.
I remember one of the tournaments way back in your old house where our older brother, had this deck that had, I forget what it did, but it was some crazy, like...
He could keep drawing. He was like cycling through his deck like crazy.
And you knew playing him was just like gonna do this, crazy thing with that.
Yeah, so... it's hard to rank it because of that, because I'm kind of combining this 9.5 out of 10 experience with an 8 out of 10 experience, and kind of like, okay, it meets somewhere in the middle. But absolutely love Keyforge. I wouldn't need to get anything else for Keyforge. I have a bunch of decks. Even if I ran a tournament, I could just go from what I have. Though it is certainly fun to just pick up some decks and give everybody. And it's cheap if you're, especially if you're playing off of old sets. So Keyforge, it's going to stay in the collection. It fills a niche that no other game has been able to for me, and is great fun.
You sold Keyforge, sir. Good job, Ryan. If they didn't click the link after that one, so help me.
Yeah, that one's getting flipped into a short, let me tell you.
Moving to my number 33. This one is on my list, one of the highest games I want to play again, because it's just been a while since I've played it. And a game that when I first played it, I think a few years back, was kind of blown away by the experience. Maybe cooled a little bit, but I think I just need to play it again to reignite what I loved initially so much. This goes to Earth. So it's been a little while since I've played Earth. Didn't even get it played in the last year. Actually, with our game group, this is one of the higher ones that we want to get to the table again, because I played it with them, I believe, last year. But man, Earth has so much going for it. In terms of it's got kind of the race for the galaxy element of you on your turn, doing one of the actions, but then triggering that color for everyone else. So on everyone's turn, you're just constantly getting stuff and doing things. Man, this is a game, because it's not a short game. I mean, a game of Earth, you're in the hour and a half, maybe to 2 hour range.
You get some bang for your buck, man.
But that's what I was going to say. You feel like you played a 3 hour game in terms of mental crunching and just like how much interaction you're getting. You are never waiting around for your turn. So and the game just has a really fun system of, I love the how the way you're playing cards out, where you place cards matters in terms of their location, because you're going to run your engine from top left and then going all the way down. And so how you orient things matters. And it matters because often you have public scoring cards, which will say, having these type of, plants in this row or in this, so you're constantly trying to figure out the best way to kind of position things next to each other. Gosh, Ryan, I just want to break Earth out again. There's an expansion
to play
to this one.
I think there's a couple now, and they look good.
They do look good.
This was one I would have liked to have played when I was out there. We didn't get to it, but it was on my mental list of like, if we could get a chance to play Earth, I would like to try it again, because I've only played it once.
Do they have it on BGA?
That's a good question.
I should look.
They might. It's not a good game if you want to there's some games you can take your turn and then go take care. I need to go quick, go to the bathroom.
You are mentally
This is
engaged
everybody's
the whole
be waiting because everybody needs to do everything every turn.
Right.
But yeah, my first play of it was very positive. So
yeah, that was
I
fun.
definitely am intrigued to try it again. My number 33 has also been mentioned on this list already.
Stealing your thunder.
And this is one that we might be the biggest proponents of this game. I was going to say stands, and then I was like, maybe I think of something a little more.
No, just say stands, right? Come on.
Yeah, just say stands. This is Dungeon Fighter. We are long time Dungeon Fighter veterans. We played the original. I think we got the original around when it came out in 2011.
It was early.
Fun fact, Dango, it actually was given to you for your birthday. I don't think you remember that, but
what?
Yeah.
Wow, and then you took it?
Life. The great split of games was complicated.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that
But
was a tragic
we
day.
played the original many
did.
times. We're talking like I probably logged 80 over 80 plays. I'm now up to 97 plays now, including the second edition plays, which the second edition is so well done.
Yeah.
You know, it dropped a pretty penny to get the collector's edition, but man, do I love it. It just is the definitive version, and having all the content, especially because we were coming from the first edition where we had all the content.
Yeah,
so it's
I
hard to
know.
like reset and go to just like
Can't
a
go
base game at that
backwards.
point. This one jumped up 8 spots for me. And I
Wow.
think the reason why is in the last month, I had 2 really good games of it. And I was
Nice.
reminded,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you just got to be reminded with a game you've played
know.
almost 100 times just how good it is.
Right.
And I had a game with a big group
Yeah.
that ultimately came down to a final roll on the boss. It was actually our sister that we had used all our dice, all our
Yeah.
white dice, but we had the item to get the boulder die. So she got to throw the boulder die
nice.
and had to get like on. And so
Right.
you're rolling with a die that you're not used to how it's gonna, because it rolls more, and got just enough
Right.
to win it. And so that was such a great experience. Well, then I ended up pulling it out again with my son Toby because we had played it before and he likes it, and
Yeah.
just played 2-player. Had a fantastic 2-player game where
Yeah.
it like came down to the wire. And you know, it's honestly very fun 2-player because you get to go a lot.
Go
You get
a
a lot
lot,
of
right.
turns.
That's
and
cool.
it raises the stakes of like missing because
Mm-hmm.
there's only 2 of us. If we both get knocked out in the same round, you're done. Like you don't
Right.
have all these other people to maybe finish off the. But had such a great time, and you know, playing with different characters. Actually, recently my son and I took out. There's all these alternate game boards like targets
Yeah.
that come in the collector's edition.
This is one of
I
my
never played with
yeah.
any of them, and
This is one of my
it-
favorite deluxe editions of a game because it's all content that just weaves perfectly into it.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's one of those things, like for most people, it's ridiculously too much content for this game. But the thing is, we play Dungeon Fighter a lot
We do.
and love this game and have played it so much that seeing new things is very fun. And so I'm like, there's certain games on the list that while there may be games that I rank higher than it, I'm actually like more confident in a game like this staying in my collection.
Right.
Like if you ask me like which games on this list are you going to be playing in 25 years?
Oh, wow.
It's a hard question because there's a lot of games that I love, but it's like, well,
Right.
who knows?
Right.
Dungeon Fighter feels like one that I can envision this edition,
Right.
me still playing it then just because it holds. It is the king in its category, and
Right.
nothing is really challenging it.
Yeah.
Great fun.
It's easy to be
with
the
Dungeon
king when
Fighter.
you're the only one.
Yeah. The game isn't even good, but it's the only one in the category.
So it's the king. Very nice, Ryan. My number 32. This might surprise you. It's a new game. You own it. I don't. This probably of all the games just epitomizes fun at its core and thematic fun. This goes to Thunder Road Vendetta.
Wow.
Ryan, like I'll be honest, I don't know why. When I saw you got this game and I kind of looked at it, and maybe it's because we got Heat already, so I was like, okay, another racing game, and this looks a little weird because it's just straight. I just didn't have like super high expectations. Oh my gosh, is this game fun? It is just pure and what amazes me about this game is the way it just weaved into the system produces such fun, crazy, funny moments. I mean, the whole collision system is brilliant of how, you know, when you hit someone, you know, the larger car has the advantage, but it's kind of, you know, a lot of randomness on like where you could go, and a collision could cause another, like there's so many chain reaction things that create things that happen that you're just like, oh my gosh, I did not, you know, expect that to happen. Or, and then you don't necessarily know what the hazards are, and there's jumps that you can go off. I mean, one, the theme is just incredible because you can visualize this happen. I mean, it's just, and the components are great and all of that. But I think the mechanics are so good at delivering just one of the most fun, chaotic, quick racing experiences that you can have. And so, you know, I played this, I guess 3 times, and every single time was just like, oh my goodness, this is so much fun. This is just so much fun, and in not that long of a time. I mean, the game is not that long, and it just feels like it throws you into the fun right away. Like you're not. I mean, that first turn, you're starting to already start ramming each other and all that. Man, what a great one. So. Yeah, I guess whenever a game's this high, you always have to consider it for your collection.
I was gonna say, dang, gotta put it on the list.
Fun to get that one played. Number 32.
Yeah, I love the breadth of just things that can. I mean, I've played it a lot more than you have, and I'll still see things that I've never seen before. The last time we played, someone got hit, and one of the damage things is shrapnel, where you roll a random direction, and the shrapnel is going to fly off in that direction, and it'll keep going in that direction until it hits something. And so we had one that it flew off and hit a car that was like 12 spaces back from it.
Yeah, totally.
But,
like moments like that.
And so it's just. There are a lot of people that are going to hate this game, but I tell you, if you just want to laugh and have a fun time that's got some interesting decisions, but it's feeding into this hilariously chaotic...
You can't take yourself too seriously in this game, because you can have some unlucky things and just
You're going to lose cars, and literally the game won't end until somebody gets completely eliminated. That's like what brings out the final finish. But yeah, we've had some really, really good plays with it. And... yeah, dang, I gotta move it up the wish list there, buddy. Because again, you have it higher than I have it.
I know. I just like your games more than you.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of new games to the collection, this is a new game to the collection that I've played 7 times in the last year. Was highly anticipated, and I would say it has completely met what I wanted it to be in my collection. This is Planet Unknown. Talked a little bit about cartographers with polyomino puzzling.
Yeah.
We enjoy that mechanism. This brings it into kind of a bit of a bigger game where it's about a little bit more than just the puzzling.
Right.
You're selecting pieces that are also going to determine what tracks you move up on. And there's it's all driven by this lazy Susan that enables the simultaneous play.
So good.
And so whoever's turn it is can rotate it whichever they want, but everybody else is going to pick from the depot that's now facing them. So it plays very quickly. I mean, most of my games have been close to an hour.
That's so
and
good.
that's even with like big groups. And then you add in the fact that like there's just so much variety in this game with all the different corporations and planets and everything. That's what really injects I could play this so many times and not get tired of it, because it's always going to be a little bit different, and it's very satisfying to figure out how to puzzle it all together. And very similar to cartographers, it's got that key piece that I like in this type of puzzle game where you get to feel the crunch down the stretch. It is going to end when somebody can't play, but typically that is once like you're getting pretty limited in where you can put things. In fact, you might be the person that ends it because you can't play something. So this one has been kind of a home run for what I wanted it to be. In my collection, goes up to 6 players, which is really helpful for this type of game, because there's not a lot of games in my collection that can handle up to 6 with being a little bit more of a strategic experience. Very excited about Planet Unknown.
Yeah, speaking of games that are not new, we're going to go to my number 31, a game already mentioned. And Ryan, it's gone from 29 to 25 to 31. That's basically steady. And yet after 126 plays, Ticket to Ride still stands strong. It really is amazing to think of the longevity this game has had in our collection, and that we still, to this day, like, I would absolutely love just sit down and play a game of Ticket to Ride. And like, that's huge, because there's gateway games that we keep in the collection because they're such great gateway games, but we start to tire of them a little bit. And like,
I've gotten rid of a lot.
Yeah.
It's like it had a season in my collection, but I'm just to the point where I don't really have much desire to play.
And even
it
a little bit of what I was saying about Quacks earlier. Like, I'm starting to, like, Quacks is fantastic, but starting to cool a little. I just don't feel that with Ticket to Ride. Like, every time the excitement of, getting the destinations and I think one of the things Ticket to Ride does so well is just, it's got an excellent shared tension, with the board, and the fact that everyone's playing on this same board, and trying to complete their routes. And so trying to optimize, okay, what are the key routes I need to get? And, oh, how do I pivot now because that person took this? Like, it's not, not a lot of games have such a just fun shared experience where you're trying to complete your own personal thing, but it's happening out on this shared board, and where what other people are doing is critical. Like, you care deeply. To this day, I don't care what map it is. I don't care where I am. Just give me some more Ticket to Ride, because it's that good, Ryan. It's that good. There is my number 31.
Nice. We had a nice chunk of crossovers here in the 30s. My last one is not a crossover, and it is another brand new one to the list. I've played this 5 times in the last year. This is Endeavor Deep Sea.
Ooh.
And this is a really, it's always hard to find games that are a little bit closer to the 90-minute range, but still feel like a big game.
Right.
And that I, would have the desire to play again and again, and that are kind of more like interactive on the board versus kind of just like working on your own thing. Endeavor Deep Sea, I think, is a great example of kind of nailing this. It's got a very cool ocean exploration element as all the players with their subs are going out and bringing out things. And it's very tactical with it, with what can I do using my, actions on my team members to go do things on the board, and what are other people going to be going and doing. It's got a nice feedback loop. It's got a nice escalation as every round you're going to get another team member. And like early on in the game, those first couple of rounds fly by and you're like, am I going to get anything done this game?
Everyone has that moment in that game.
And it's like, okay, well, you're getting that engine is what's going to empower you in those last 2 turns to do most of what's going to, be your points. And it does feel like it is like a really tight balance between getting over the hump and not quite getting over the hump. I think you can have games of this where your engine just doesn't quite, and you kind of are left with this oh, I wanted to do so much more. But if you can just get a little bit over.
So I just need to get better is what you're saying.
So Daniel just needs to get better. That's why it's not on this list.
It is.
No, but even in my own experience, I've played it more than you, and I've had varying levels of how strong individual games have been in my enjoyment of it. And I think a lot of it boils down to that, if you're able to get your engine over the hump to feel like you kind of got closure to your
Sounds
plans.
a lot like Agricola, Ryan.
Yeah, I guess. But it really is a fresh game. The feel of it, and finally got to try it with more than 2 players. We played a 4-player game of it.
Yeah, that was fun.
Which was fun, though I don't think either of us did very well. I don't think either of us really got over that hump that I'm talking about.
I have been living under that hump every play so far.
Yeah, all 2 of them. But I am still very excited about this one. I love that the ocean is different every time, and you don't see all the tiles, so you still see things that you've never seen before. There's some of these tiles that really change the game. There's one that's the orca reintroduction, and now these little orcas come out, and there's a whole thing that we can bring the orcas to, and it's a little mini game brought in just because of that tile. I think that's very cool for just the game to game variability. They are releasing expansion for this now.
Oh no, Ryan.
And literally the expansion is literally what I would have told them to do for this game, which is just more of everything.
Wow.
It doesn't.
You
they
sound
just
sponsored.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I did not back it on the crowdfunding campaign, but I did bookmark it as one I would like to pick up eventually when it comes to retail. And so I've had a lot of fun with Endeavor Deep Sea so far. Hey, if any of those games sounded fun to you, you should check them out below, but you should also make sure you enter our giveaway. You can't win if you don't enter. But we've got another 30 games to talk about, so stay tuned, and we will see you in the next one.